Welcome to PIC852 Podcast channel, where we dive deep into the world of acting, music and voiceover. Join us as we unravel industry secrets, offering practical insight for seasoned pros. Get ready to ride the wave of your career with confidence.
You won't get the reality of the character because you're concentrating on an accent.
Or maybe I'm not going to be good enough. Or maybe I look bad. Or maybe I need to do my style again because that's not working. And you go in kind of this obsession of trying to redo something on you.
It takes a lot of guts to carry on being an actor when you're just. I do not like people doing self-tapes if you don't know the lines. Nowadays, you just have to know the lines.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the PIC852 Podcast channel, Actors Essentials. We are here today with Leila Bertrand, a famous casting director. She's been awarded. She had a past in acting. She starts a clarinet musician and had over 25 years of experience in this industry, in film and theater. So I'm honored and blessed to be here with you today. Thank you to taking part of this project. We aim to help actors, upcoming and established actors, to find some clarification in all the news that are out there, to build a career in a good way and hopefully bring them to succeed. So thank you to be here today, actually to invite us here today. Which is I want to start asking you, when you receive from the agency, the agents, all the actors that they propose. So in the terms of all the picture that you see, how you choose an actor? So was it catch your attention, seeing the pictures?
Okay. Well, first of all, the picture, it was a good, that's why it's very, very important to have good photographs taken, good headshots. It has to be clear and honest, but also it's not only it's the look, but it's also I look at their CVs, see what they've done, and who they might have worked with, and sometimes they've just come out of drama school or they're just starting, haven't done very much, but something catches my attention. Like, you've got amazing eyes, so I might think, oh God, I want to meet her. There's eyes, that might go with a certain character. But yeah, it's the photograph, when you see that first initial headshot.
There could be like something like they capture more the energy in the neutral.
More than
neutral more than be like in a Carter, for instance.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people ask to have some characterization in the picture, the headshots, in the bunch to have on spotlight. There's something a bit more dramatic or a bit more, I want to do just spy films. So I have this look,
Well, I wouldn't. Well, yeah. Well, that sort of thing turns me off. Actually, I mean, I like when I look at spotlight, it's great. People have kind of maybe 2 or 3 photographs, but for me, it would turn me off if someone was just, I want to be Superman, because it's not real, is it?
Yeah, I think you get time to shut that one when you got the audition for that one.
Absolutely.
And also maybe you shut off your chances to be something else.
That's right, I think.
Because you might want to do something, discover doing something that actually fits you more, and you haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
And that's your career.
Yeah. Because the other day I met an actor who, when I first met him, he had long hair, and he's now got a number 1 haircut, and it's so different. And so what he's going to do now is, in his spotlight, he's going to put back a picture of Rick with him with his long hair, and him now with a number 1. Because he just he's like if I ask you to put your hair up, you look different to your hair down, and do you wear glasses? It's all those different looks.
Yeah, that's how it can help, and also like to keep updated.
Yeah,
updated. I lost like 10 kilo more on the face, and then it comes to like, oh, but I choose it because you have this face, and you lost too much weight.
I know, but actually, funny enough, I better not name names. There are a few actors and actresses out there who are famous, and they haven't changed their picture. They're now like in their 60s, and the last time they had their picture taken was when they were in their 40s. But because they're famous, they can get away with it. But most actors are working actors. You know what I mean. They're jobbing actors. They're not household names, so they do have to upgrade, because it's just kind of weird if you're coming to the room and you look totally different to what it says in Spotlight or on IMDb.
That leads me to other things, because I saw so many times beautiful pictures but then up to me, I don't like when I over retouch. So it's fantastic. You look like in a magazine, beautiful. And if you have an interview, it's fantastic. But for spotlight, I would say that like less is better.
That's right.
Do you agree?
I agree with you.
Like if I have like, you know, some wrinkles, I want to see those wrinkles. Maybe in the movie you're not going to see that one.
No.
But you're still you when you walk in.
That's right.
Right?
I agree with you.
So.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I know it's hard for actors, especially females, you know, or LGBT when they're getting older, but I think it limits you. I mean, I don't make any judgments. I know many people have done stuff to the face. That's fine, but if it limits you where you're just looking like a Barbie doll, or like, you know, you can't see his lines, like, it's tricky. I think it limits the roles you can play.
Yeah, because they take off expression as well.
Exactly.
So, and also, I need to be honest, photograph when you have too much things done, it's more tough than someone is natural, because then everything you do looks too much.
Yeah.
So.
Unless you're playing a dolly bird, or a vain person who is that's their look. If that's the role, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, if you want to do just that one and it's working.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. I would say you can play like a soap for the entire life and pick that one.
Yeah.
It's fine, you know, this is a choice, but as soon as people know this is a choice and not.
Exactly.
When you choose actors for casting that you do, sometimes you go to choose them, like, I don't know, see them in a performing stage, or not just what has been, of course you send your cast list to the agency, I think works like that, and they send you someone that's corresponding to. Yeah. But you also go like outside, or happen like walk in the street and see somebody that's ever happened in your life that's like, oh my gosh, this person would be the one I'm looking for. I personally, I mean, I met one young male actor a few years ago. I took his number and I cast him something, but I don't usually cast people from the street. I might, if I meet you at a party or in a restaurant, I go, are you an actor? And I'll take their number, but I don't actually go out looking, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that answers your question. So sometimes, say we're out, I will say, oh, like an actor, and they say, yes, no, I am. And then we swap numbers, and that's happened in the past. Oh, that's beautiful.
But I don't really do street casting, because I can do, but I just hasn't been my thing. I just, yeah.
And it ever happened, and I don't know which question, but ever happened that like someone is giving the line for a self-tape to somebody, they sent to you, and you want to actually meet the actor that was giving the line?
It has.
It happened.
And the person got the role. In fact, as funny story, because as you know, I used to be an actress. When I was starting out, I was up for a film, and I took my then boyfriend with me, who was an actor, still is an actor, a very good one actually, and he was just coming to accompany me. And the director said, "Oh, actually, would you step in? Would you do a scene with her? Actually, let's try and do a scene." Anyway, he got the gig, I didn't.
So it's happening.
So it does happen.
So like always go with your friend if it happens. So yes, I'm coming with you. You never know. It's always an opportunity.
It's an opportunity, but also, I always say to people, on one's journey as an actor, you take the loyal friends on your, and be loyal. And I reckon in life, I don't have friends and family who I compete with. I'm really proud of them if they do well. And actually, what is success, what is failure, and also sometimes it's good to fail. So I laugh at that story. At the time, I was a bit hurt, but hey, we're still friends, me and that friend.
That's good.
So it does happen. Yeah, it does happen.
And you think this, like when an actor prepare actually and a self-tape could be any way useful to have another actor helping?
It's very useful, and I really think it's important, if one can, to get a really good reader opposite you, because you can feed, instead of getting your mum, who's probably a wonderful doctor or whatever they do, or works in the shop, or whatever. It's really, if you can, it's much better to have an actor who can act, because on the whole, especially if it's TV and film, unless it's a lead, you don't get to see the whole script. You only get a couple of sides, right?
Yes.
And you have to learn them, by the way. That's come from America. They do not like people doing self-tapes if you don't know the lines. Nowadays, you just have to know the lines. And it is just, I think it's very important to have somebody you can feed off.
Okay, that's good, because very
important, actually.
someone's like, could be like, it's true that you get like a gamble, like, you might be like less, but if you shine less because the reader is better than you, maybe you need to work better on the line.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That is true. But I do, I just think it's really important that you read with somebody who can read properly. You know what I mean? I just, say you're going up for, I don't know, Lady Macbeth, and you got, your nanny, or I don't know, or your best mate who happens, to be a dentist, to read in. It's going to be really tricky.
Yeah.
So... Yeah,
so find like maybe groups, like I saw like some Facebook groups sometimes like sharing with other actors.
Yeah.
Even if you do via Zoom or like via phone, it's something.
It is something.
Because...
Also, really important, you do need to know the lines. One does need to know the lines. In the old days, you'd be forgiven. And you are forgiven. Say it's in the room, say it's a theatre is different to TV and film, as we all know, auditions. And when you're brought in, sometimes you don't need, you muck up the lines, but you'll be forgiven if you hold the thought, if you bring at least just, 20 seconds of that character live, that you believe.
But if it happened like you are in that character, for instance, you know the line.
Yeah.
And then like, let's say that you go like in a live audition instead of like a self-tape that you can do.
Yeah.
The emotion is that you did like a mistake.
Yeah.
You're aware of that mistake. If you just grab the mistake as a being in the character, you're like pretending that you something that happened, that you put it there as functional to the audition. I think it can work. You can still send it. If it was a tape, send a tape. But if it was live, you would still consider.
No. If it's tape,
tape, no.
No, live, absolutely. We're human. There's nerves in the room. Absolutely. You drop the line. You can either continue, or you can stop and you say, "Can I take that again?" It's forgivable to drop a line, but not on self-tape. No.
Because you can redo it again.
That's
so
right.
It's like you can choose it before you send it.
Yeah, not a good idea. Unless it's funny and you make it funny, but no, that's not a good idea.
Okay.
Because they're going to be thinking, why isn't Angie, not redone it or edited it out?
Yeah. Also because sometimes, even if a short time, you still have time to redo it.
Yeah.
They're not long, and it makes sense. And also, like, probably I think, if I'm wrong, if someone send it as like a mistake and you're still sending like this, it's kind of like, well, you didn't like it, you don't commit it, you don't think there's time enough to, like kind of like not really taking care of it to do another take and do it right.
No, you have to do another take.
No, I mean, like if someone send it, it might give that thought like, oh, this person doesn't really care about this part because he didn't do a second take, he just sent me like this wrong.
Yeah, it's a bit careless.
Yeah. Right.
It's a bit undisciplined.
It's happening.
It's never happened. No one sent me a self-tape with no.
That's good. That's a good news at least.
No.
That would be like, really bad.
Yeah.
And how much do you think it's important when they prepare actors a self-tape as well to have a good lighting or like something's not distracting in the scene, like, sitting in your room normally with a plane, take down maybe a camera or photograph if you have there and just sitting there, just well lit, simple light, even small light, that you can see the colour of the eyes and the hair, the skin.
The simpler, the background is, the better, less distracting. I imagine these spots are quite distracting, but anyway.
But in the video you can say like,
get like fade out a bit maybe.
They make, like in a movie.
Yeah.
They make it cozy.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask, like, when they start their career, like, how important is to have, or how disrupting it is having accent for actors, because you have like a lot of foreigner people here in London. So how does it?
Well, I as I was saying earlier, it's all right to have an accent now. It's just changed. Luckily, the times have changed, so you don't have to learn RP because you're not RP. Okay, you're probably never going to be asked to play an Englishwoman because you've got that accent. You've got a lovely. You can be Mediterranean. You can be Brazilian. You could be speak all those languages. But as long as they can understand you, because actually we're in the British Isles, but there's some sometimes I used to live in Scotland, in Glasgow, and you have to really attune yourself to that accent because it's so strong. So I believe nowadays, be Italian, French, African, Caribbean, as long as we can understand you, it's okay. And it's like, say I was casting, I needed to cast a woman from Rome, and I brought you in, fantastic, because you got the accent, you can do the accent,
Yeah, so like
it's easier as opposed to getting. My generation would have got an English person to put on an Italian accent. Now, because it's so international, you would be considered for the role.
another thing is like I find quite confusing happening a lot of time also between friends. When you ask for an accent. A lot of time an actor that is a foreigner doesn't know if he needs to speak normally, like he normally speak in his own way, own accent, or he needs to do the accent. So I found, but I need to do, I had like some friend of mine, Angie, do you think I need to do more Italian, or does it sound too much, or like some caricature? And I don't know, try to do both and then see.
Yeah. I listen, if you're Italian and you're going for an Italian role, just use your own voice. Like you're using your own voice with me now, use your own voice. No.
Don't go to stereotype, is what I'm saying.
There's no need. Unless the character, it's a comedy or something and the person does exaggerate, then you would exaggerate. But otherwise, use your own voice. We just have to understand what you're saying to us and believe what you're saying to us.
Okay, that's good. And also, probably just, the stress on the right place when you talk. So
absolutely
speak properly, but with your own accent.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's really good because a lot of time it happened to have this kind of question. And ask them myself, I don't know,
because also if I know all of you know this, but if you concentrate too much on your accent, you won't get the reality of the character because you're concentrating on an accent.
Yeah, that's another thing. So sometimes it happen you talk in a way, and you sound in a certain way, and then you go to do an audition, and out of a sudden you sound less kind of fake.
Yeah.
Like fake.
Yeah.
The right word is fake, completely.
Yeah, but if you're
being a soap.
Yeah, in a soap. It's very hard to be a soap actor actually. But if you are concentrating on just the accent, it's not reality. Because you're bringing a role to us, and that person has that, their normal accent is French, London, wherever. We won't concentrate on our accent. We will, just be in a moment of that role. You get in your head, you get in a headspace. You keep concentrating on accents.
Yeah, no, I get it. Makes sense.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just be there, be natural.
Yeah.
Feel with the character.
Yeah.
Get immersed into it and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Instead of focusing, I'm doing right, that's the technique. Once it happened, I remember at the beginning, I was doing a short film. That's one of the first things I did. And it was this actor that was doing from a drama school of acting, and he was doing method as a technique. Right. And at the point, he has to, I was his girlfriend, and I was kissing another boy. He sadly saw me kiss somebody else, and he had to cry.
Right.
And I saw him staring at me like this. And I was thinking, what you doing? It's I couldn't understand. And then we talked because we became friends. It's it's the method. I was trying to imagine myself, when I lost somebody again in that. But what about just leaving you really believe I'm your girlfriend and it's happening, and just you're just leaving the scene how it's happening? Yeah. What about that? Yeah. No, but the method. Yeah, but sometimes I thought maybe you could go. It's good to have all the technique, so you know what to use when it's useful for you in that moment.
Absolutely, but in that moment also, it could be because acting is about listening. So if he listened to you're playing his girlfriend and say she was dying of cancer or whatever, and you listen in real life, and you love this person, then the emotion just comes because you're listening and taking your time, taking the time.
I mean, how many times you read a book and you're just reading there, you find yourself because it's so well written.
Yeah.
Do you start crying reading the book?
Absolutely right.
I guess it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
So it's just be there. I'm not saying it's not good to have technique. Of course, it's not. No. They're super useful in so many times in different techniques. But if you can't find it, just take a moment. Yeah. Say it. Don't be afraid to say sorry. Can I say stop one second? I need a moment instead of because anyway we had to cut that moment because it was that. It was going on.
It wasn't working.
No, we had to take a moment anyway. So the director said, okay, let's take a moment. And it was fun. That's why I had these conversations that was going on, and he's no, because in the method they told he was just graduated, so
early days.
I was oh my God, it's okay, it's fine, but and then it went much better when he relaxed and left the moment, and then we got some truth coming in.
No, because, you know, all actors need a bit of technique because it helps you. You get tired, and sometimes you just have to fall back on your technique. It saves you. It's energy, and especially in the theatre, when you have to, say you're on the stage for 6 months, in a play, long, you really do sometimes have to fall back on your technique because it gets sometimes too much.
Yeah, that one also technically, because like you need to move in a space.
Exactly.
They like you don't gonna fall down. There's the prompts there. You need to move in a certain way. Sometimes you need to pick up object every time, and you need to do it. Otherwise, the second scene will be a problem. So
that's right.
You got all the be read in the present moment. So yeah, I'm agree with you. Techniques there.
It's really. So it does. It's very helpful.
Especially like I remember, like in a commedia dell'arte they do in Italy.
Nice.
With all the masks, you need that.
Did you work?
No, I just did a course about that one, and
right.
I was like, so we did some things in a workshop, but it was so interesting, so emotionally as well. Like it get like, I don't know, open up emotion that I wouldn't even believe can exist.
Wonderful.
And it was really beautiful experience. Work with also with the marionette.
Yeah.
It's a different work. It's a different journey. Probably not something that I would just do the whole life as a passion, but it was something nice to explore and have it in your background.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and in your experience as actress as well, and a casting director, what you would say of an actress to go ahead with their career without just going down and say, no, I'll give up, that's not for me, because you always have this up and down going in a career, because you're not getting this, it's always a no, and then you start, or maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not committed enough, or maybe I look bad, or maybe I need to do my style again because that's not working. And you got in kind of this obsession of try to redo something on you because you believe that you're not working.
Well, as we all know, I don't know if it's 99% or is it 95% of our profession are out of work. You know that, don't you? As the profession goes, 99, it's either 99 or 95, I should know the percentage, are out of work. So sometimes you could be the most talented actor, right? It's luck. It's being in the right place at the right time. It's networking. So you might be very beautiful, you might be very ugly, you might have certain features, but it's just not working. You just cannot get in the room. Sometimes people can't get in that room or get the auditions because it's just not quite right. It's just not. But it doesn't mean to say you can't do it. This is a really hard one. It takes a lot of guts to carry on being an actor when you're just a jobbing actor, when you're waiting, especially if you haven't got an agent, so you haven't got anybody else out there. It's only you plugging away, getting in touch with casting directors in theatre and producers, and as you know now in Britain, you kind of have to have an agent. Some countries it's slightly different. It's not as strict as rigid as this country. So that's a tough one. Being out of work for a long time, and you start to doubt yourselves. That's I don't know. That's tough.
Probably it's like self-belief, probably passion about it.
Passion.
I think it's like somehow it's also like a natural selection.
Yeah.
Because somehow it might drive you to do something else that you might discover you like it more, or maybe cultivate a second passion during that one. It can help to say, okay, if I don't do that one, don't die, And sometimes I saw friends of mine sleeping in the car, sleeping in the street, have like all these horrible stories. And then I said to them, just don't give up. Because for any kind of reason, they said, I know that this is my way. I know that I'm good. And I'm going to stick with it. Of course, in between, then you're going to...
Sometimes they're not good, though.
But
it's just knowing if you can do it. I gave up acting because I had a panic attack. Okay, I loved acting. I do not miss it. And I might occasionally do a little thing as a favour. I don't tell people, but I just turn up on certain films. But sometimes you have to know if you're not good enough. That's really brutal. I know that's really brutal, but it's true. And there's some people, especially the older one gets, if you're still at the age of 50 and you started out at 24 and you might get one line here, two lines there, and you're still waiting by the phone, that's kind of giving up your life. There's so many other things one can do. I'm not saying give up, but I'm just saying sometimes some people can't act. As we all know, acting's a very, very difficult job. It's not going to get down the mine or being a brain surgeon, but not everybody can act. That's the fact.
Just find something different, like alongside.
That's hard what I'm saying, but I mean there's some actors out there who are very famous and they're not very talented, but they got lucky. It's the way of the world.
I don't know. Like my cousin, he never studied acting and nothing, and like every time there's some people pick him up. Oh, I got the funding for this movie. Do you want to do this movie?
Fantastic.
I said, you know what?
You got something.
You got something. Maybe you should go and study. I said to him, because I think that the world is saying something. To me, it never happened. I never walk in the street and someone stopped me and say, "Hey, do you want to do that one?" It's the dream of any actor.
So he's obviously got charisma, because charisma plays a big part in being an actor as well.
I think so. Like I saw him like once. Like it's quite interesting. So I said, like, go and study, because that will help. And
but you don't always have to go and study. You can learn on the job, as they say. There's some actors out there who didn't study. They learnt their craft on every job they got better and better. And as we know, it's the more you work, the more experience one has.
Yeah, but I think like it. You do for yourself mainly, like the study. It's not because I think...
But you can do workshops though, actually.
Yeah.
Actors' workshops.
It's intensive ones.
Yeah, they're really good. And they've come to Britain now, like in America, even actors who work all the time, when sometimes have a break, they go and do workshops, because it's quite good to be with other actors. And, I think, yeah.
I think that one also help when you have, like, for a long time you don't have a job.
Absolutely.
As an actor, that help to...
Absolutely.
Boost your energy,
and your confidence.
Because I think like confidence is quite good things when you need to have that one.
You do.
I mean, not too much to be arrogant. No. So like I am the best. That's a bit too much, but confident, like you master your craft, because.
Yeah, and I think you have to enjoy it. God, I say, when it's working, it's so exciting. You get to travel, meet interesting people, play different parts. All of the world. It's a great job when it works. Don't you think, when you're an actress? So
yeah.
You love it, don't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've been like out of like a little bit, but
you're coming back into it
recently, just literally, because our daughter is 4, so that's a good time.
No, it's a good time.
I believe that like kids needs a mom.
No, absolutely. No, actually, we had a rule, because we've got 2 children. When they were little, we had a rule that. Luckily, there's 5 years apart. That if one was going away to work, we couldn't be apart from each other for more than 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because especially when they're little, they grow so fast.
And also, you miss the moments, and also like you see like them like that needing, and I say like, you know what, you can do other things. That's what I'm saying. Like you can cultivate other passion.
Absolutely.
And you might discover like you still get like alongside your artistic way, and discover that you like it.
Yeah.
So why not? And that boosts my confidence, actually.
Really?
Otherwise we'd probably go down the road.
Wow, that's good.
So personally, in my journey, it was finding other things that I like in an artistic field that can still feed my creativity.
Yeah.
And that fed also like the acting things that otherwise, because you're running a country. So of course you are kind of like, your accent is still not there. Everyone's saying, oh, your accent is horrible. You're not going to do that one. I'm not casting. You can't be cast for this and that. You put yourself in a box and all these sort of things. And then you say like, oh my gosh, maybe I did something wrong. Happened this in a lot of people's minds. To me, at least, it happened. And I said, the point is like, oh, maybe it's not my journey. Maybe it was, and maybe it's time to change, And then I completely changed. I just like, you know what? I just want to do something else in that moment of my life. I went there, and then of course, like I started dreaming of night, being on stage. It's like, okay, maybe it's the moment to come back. Something is telling me from inside. So yeah, I would say like just never give up. If you have a passion, just believe it. Like and sometimes it might not be your career; it could be just an hobby, and still feeds you. Yeah, because at the end of the story, it's just one life. It's so short.
Absolutely, but also it is. I mean, I sometimes. I'm busy at the moment. I sometimes think, I'm getting paid. My hobby's paying me. I mean, how lucky are we? So unfortunately, most people don't like their jobs. I happen to love my job. In fact, someone bought me a rug the other day and said, I love my job, and I do. I love my job. I get to meet interesting people like you and James behind the camera. And,
Thank you.
It's a good job. And I have to say, I want to reassure actors out there that, us casting directors, we ask for you to do a self-tape or bring you in the room, because we think you're right for the role. So actually, we're on your side. You understand? It's not a kind of like, we're not your enemy. We are on your side because we are also trying to find the next best thing. So when you're brought into the room or we ask you to do a self-tape, it's because we think you're right for that role. And when you don't get that gig sometimes, it's not because you're untalented, it's because the directors and producers says, actually, she doesn't fit with George here. So we went for Jimmy. And if we'd gone for Jimmy and he'd said yes, then Angie would have got the role. So it's like getting a team together. So sometimes it's not about the talent, it's about the chemistry.
Yeah, I think it's more like, if you think like, you have like someone playing in a movie, they're like a couple, and there's no chemistry between them. It makes a really tough job for everybody.
It does.
So
and that's bad casting. There's something went wrong.
Yeah,
if there's no chemistry between the two leads, that'll be bad casting or bad. Yeah.
It's always a team. That's why, like, sometimes also like in everything, like a lot of times actors do things like it's a team behind, like even the agent is part of the team, because if you got a job, they're earning the money too. So and they're happy because you are their actor. So it's like it's a teamwork of all the pieces.
It's a whole collaborative. It's a whole journey. It's the team. It's like your family for that period of time. So behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, your fellow actors is a team. It has to be. It's like being a football team. I don't know if you like football, but it's like being a football team or cricket, or it's a team. Yeah.
Like I remember, like one on set was this. I saw this old. It's just two brothers in Italy. One is director and one is a producer.
Right.
And they always work with the same crew.
Yeah.
So when that, it's like everyone was so nice. Everyone was so smiley. We hear all these stories on set. Everyone kill each other. Everyone is so awful. Like so. I went there. It's like, it looks like being in a paradise. What's going on? And they explained they all have the same crew, tend to work with the same people. So you have this harmonic feeling that was beautiful. And it was one of my starting things. So like, so it was like I jumped in with all the enthusiasm in the world because the first experience was beautiful. It's yeah.
That's lovely.
It's not always happen, but
it doesn't always happen. But yeah, and because also sometimes a director and producer does that specifically because they know how you work, and you can have shortcuts because you know how they all know how they fit. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Something that you want to say, like, to actors, your own spontaneous advice about their career or anything that, like, can do to prepare themselves at the best for the audition, for the pictures, for being there ready when this wave will come.
Yeah. One of the big advice I give is, because we're human beings and you're an actor, so the body is your temple, you're the product. So I always advise actors to have a hobby as well, to either swim or yoga or dance and look after themselves. And also in life, be nosy, observe people when you're on the bus or the train, or sometimes listening on the conversation. Observe how people sit, observe how they talk, their attitudes, because you're going to play a character like that. And also be prepared to use some of your own life experiences to bring to the role, because I think it makes you a stronger actor. And the other thing I'd say is, don't put yourself in a box straight away, because you're going to be put in a box anyway. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
In our industry, people are going to,
even famous actors, like you say, why is this actor always doing this role?
That's right.
And then you understand that because he put in the box and he agreed.
That's right.
Somehow some actors said, like, no, I don't want to do that one anymore. And then at a point of the career being a comedian, so I want to do something serious. And they say, no. And then eventually I happen to step to something different.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, look at Steve Coogan. He's a comedian, and some of his straight acting now is superb. I mean, and by the way, comedy is amazing. And if you've got the gift to be a comedian, a comic actress, oh my God, it's rather wonderful. It's really, because as we all know, comedy and tragedy are kind of like the same. You can be watching comedy and all of a sudden you're crying because it's like tragic as well. So my advice to actors actually is, first of all, enjoy it, trust yourself. And when you are working with other actors, listen. It's just really important, because from listening, you feed off that character. You understand? So you're not, working opposite an actor and you're just thinking about the lines as opposed to listening to what that actor's saying to you. So be truthful, enjoy, especially when it's working. And I know everybody says, it makes it easier to have an agent, but don't despair if you don't have an agent. It's so much easier out there, isn't it, online for people to find out auditions. Because I know some actors despair because they haven't got an agent, because it makes it slightly more difficult, but it's not impossible.
No, it's because now we have all these groups on Facebook. You can find school projects.
Yeah.
I find school project fantastic. How I built up my show reel in England. I said in the scene, you know what? Schools. That's what they give you, something professional.
Yeah.
And you can just, build up your portfolio.
Fantastic.
And it's something something they even pay you little, but they pay you too. So it's it's not bad. And it's to get some serious project, you still be there, and then you have something to showcase yourself. And maybe in that case, an agent would be easy for them to, to choose you, because a picture is important, but doesn't tell everything. It says tell that you could play a spectrum of roles, because the imagination comes through there, you pick up the vibes. But then actually, how you open your mouth, how you're acting is a different journey.
It's a different journey, but I'd always like to say to you, because you're an international actress who can speak 3 languages, put yourself out there as well. That you might do a self-tape for an Italian series or a French series or a Polish series. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't limit yourself to just I know you're living here and this is your home now, but I'm saying be open to the fact you are blessed with all those languages you can. I'm so jealous.
That I did because I love to communicate with people.
I hope it's been helpful.
Very much.
Is it?
Yeah, thank you so
much.
And
I also have to say, I have deep respect for actors. I adore actors, even though they can be a pain in the butt sometimes. Especially when you have the deals you have to do sometimes.
But sometimes you need to push some people to get that something out. Depending on the people, but sometimes that's something, because you need to show, even when you're nervous, agitated, emotional, whatever it is happening in that moment, that something can be converted in something that is useful for the character. So let the emotion flow sometimes. Don't think it's a limit.
Exactly.
Right.
And also, before I go, don't be frightened of asking if you don't understand what the casting director or the director wants you to do. You have to take direction, in the room. So don't be afraid to ask if you don't understand what they wanting you to do. That's very important, actually.
No,
that came from Mike Lee, who I worked with years ago. A wonderful director. So,
because sometimes you feel this distance, so you're always being
nervous,
judged. So, and then from that perception of being judged, because that could be your life chance, and you feel like maybe I shouldn't ask because.
No, ask.
Ask
in the nicest possible way, but ask. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been lovely.
It's been lovely too. Sorry, my hands are really.
No, it's lovely.
Hold the hands.
Thank you.
So, if you like this episode and you want to see more, we're doing this one, just to help our fellow actors to get some clarification and don't give up. Not always, at least. And so, if you like it, just press the button like. Feel free to share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.
Oh.